So this is my message to the kids. Don't do drugs if you look like you do drugs. Probably 2007, long-haired Nick. Loved Wu-Tang. In fact, had 3 Wu-Tang shirts, so it was my daily wardrobe. Me and a buddy are driving to a gig. We're going to El Paso to perform at the comic strip. We leave at 11 p.m. because we think traveling at night is so much better. My buddy has a spot at the Hollywood Improv. That's where we start our journey. Takes a few drinks. In fact, he gets a little plastered. We get on the road. I didn't know that my buddy had weed on him too. So we're driving. About 4 hours in the trip, we get to Blythe, California. Now some of you may know Blythe if you pass through it. Apparently a lot of cops pull over comics on trips there. My buddy pulls out his pipe and weed, which I didn't know he had on him. Starts smoking in my car. And I look at him like, hey, we can't have that in my car. So I start to exit, because in my mind, I'm like, let's just put it into the back seat. And then you can smoke it where we get to. Now, let me note, I'm 100% sober at this time, even though I look like a pothead. Long hair, Wu-Tang shirt, buddy who looks like a pothead, drunk and high. As we're pulling over the exit, cop lights come on. They've been following us. They said that we were speeding, but it didn't matter, because when I told my buddy to hide his weed, he threw it on the floorboard, right where the cop shined his flashlight. Pipe and weed. So, they pulled me out of the car. The officer starts conducting sobriety tests, and I'm messing it all up. It's 4 a.m. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm nervous. We're near a highway. Cars passing by. He tells me to do this test. Count from 1 to 10, taking steps forward, turn around, then count from 10 to 1. That's the instruction I miss, right? So I do the 1 to 10, turn around, and do the 1 to 10 again. Messed up that sobriety test. Then it was follow the pen. Then it was a few other ones. He determines that I am either high or drunk. Throws me in the back of the cop car. My friend's still drunk. He comes up to me with his little video camera and says, what do you want to tell the world? Because he's going to post it on Facebook. And I said, get out of my face. I go to jail, 6 a.m. Other sheriffs are clocking into their shift. The cop that pulled me over is upset because he wants me to admit that I was drunk or high. They tell me that they've arrested Gabriel Iglesias before. So, they call in a nurse, 8 a.m. to take blood, because I am not saying that I'm drunk or high, because I'm not. I've been 100% stone cold sober, right? And the guy wants me to admit that I did something which is not true. So, they take my blood, throw him in a cell all by myself. While in there, the jailers find out that I'm a stand-up comic, and they watch all my routines, and they ask me if I know Angela Johnson. I get my mugshot taken with a Wu-Tang shirt. 10 a.m., I'm finally released. My buddy is there to greet me. They said they took him to Denny's, right? Drunk and high, went to Denny's. So, we continue our trip, get to El Paso, do the gig. Now, if you don't know anything about DUIs, the minute that it's on record, lawyers start sending out letters to get you to hire them to have this dealt with. It's immediately known. So all these letters are going to my mom's house, which is my mailing address, right? She's freaking out. My buddy tells me, don't worry, man. I'll hire a lawyer. I'll handle all the fees. We're going to get this taken care of because I know you're 100% stone cold sober and it was my fault. So the lawyer says, I'll keep an eye on it. And he does. Court date never comes up. I never get asked to come back to Blythe because of this. Finally, the lawyer calls me and says, hey, so since your blood came back 100% clean, this is not going to go to the courts because you would have ruined this cop's career. I was the first guy that he ever field tested. He was new to that side of copetry, whatever it might be. Policeness, right? I was informed that since I was 100% clean, if we would have gone to court, he would have lost the case, and then any lawyer in that town could have used my case against him for every single DUI, DWI arrest that this guy attempts. Because since he can't be 100% sure because of me, then he can't be 100% sure with everybody else. So, everything was dropped, or so I thought, until 5 years later, when I tried to get global entry, and it popped up. But I got global entry because I was 100% clean. Yes! Yeah. And now I do drugs. The
Full
minute,
circle,
yeah,
dude.
the minute I stopped looking like a pothead, now I'm doing pot.
Would never guess it with this guy.
So don't do drugs if you look like you do drugs.